What? His name was Butz? Like, I know it's probably normal in Japan, but there's no way I'm passing off that joke. World Wayfarer Butz's Trustmaster reward is his clothes. It has high attack, a double plant killer, and a small limit burst regen. Not too shabby. His Super Trustmaster reward is his hat. Not only does it boast high attack, but it also has a double human and plant killer. Truly silent but deadly. Furthermore, when equipped onto this Butz but this Butz only, it'll give him an extra 1,500 attack. Onto his active abilities. Crushing Blade Chains of Absolute Mirror of Equity and inflicts a 130% fire, lightning, wind, and light imperil. Wind Cutter Blade deals wind damage to Chains of Graviton Cannon. Blessed Wind Crystal will buff your team's wind damage by 45%. Elemental Burst, Wind, will buff Butz's wind damage by 150%. Violent Gale will deal wind damage to Chains of Bolting Strike. The Wind is Calling Me can be used once per battle. It boosts Butz's wind damage by 30% and gives him a Super Limit Burst buff. Passives. With his Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward equipped, Butz gets an extra 1,000 attack. The man has 6 strong killers, meets a big portion of the Limit Burst damage cap, and has a hefty Limit Burst regen as well. He has passives suited for dual wielding, despite clearly only holding one, though he has the associated passive for that too. His normal attack has been changed to attack, filling 1/10 of his Limit Burst gauge. At EX plus 2 he gets Warring Spirit. At EX plus 3 he gets 500 attack. Let's look at his Limit Burst. It inflicts a 35% Sword Imperil, a 130% Wind Imperil, 80% Defense Break, and then deals strong wind damage. Time to change forms. World Wayfarer Butz has a true Brave Shift, which has no limitations whatsoever. Onto his active abilities. Fill Limit Burst fills his Limit Burst. Spellblade, Thundaga, will remove any imbues from Butz, imbue lightning onto him, buffs his lightning damage by 30%, and triples the damage modifiers of his abilities in this form. Spellblade, Viraga, is the same thing, but fire. Spellblade, Holy, is the same thing, but light. Termination Blade can be used twice per battle. It deals big damage. Passives. Some of his passives actually take a hit in this form, losing a bit of Limit Burst damage and regen. Not only that, but he also loses his innate double hand boost, despite... come on. Nevertheless, he does trade this out for a stronger foundation, boasting an extra 500 attack in this form. Let's look at his Limit Burst. It triples the damage modifier of his base Limit Burst, the damage modifier of his Brave Shift abilities, and boosts his attack by 250%. Let's rank Brave abilities. They both raise their damage modifiers, but Crushing Blade is much stronger than Wind Cutter Blade. Time to make a damage rotation. I'll be using him as a lightning damage dealer, though any of the 3 Brave Shift elements can work. Start with that form by the way. Cast Fill Limit Burst, Spellblade, Viraga, and Spellblade, Holy. On turn 2, use his Limit Burst. On turn 3, cast Spellblade, Thundaga, and double cast Crushing Blade. On turn 4, double cast Crushing Blade, and cap with Termination Blade. Do the same thing on turn 5. From here, switch back. Focus on filling his Limit Burst gauge without using his Grandest ability. Then, activate his Brave Shift, and use his Limit Burst once again. Switch back to his base form, and cast Elemental Burst, Wind, The Wind is Calling Me, and Violent Gale. Then, use his Limit Burst. Once his Grandest buff has been used, you're better off sticking with a triple Crushing Blade from here, with the buffs from his Brave Shift. So, EX2? EX plus 2 certainly helps. Though Butz does have access to 2 instant Limit Burst abilities, it's still only 2, and his Limit Burst rotation doesn't leave a lot of room for optimized performance. As a result, getting Warring Spirit can let him smoothly transition from his Brave Shift damage to his base form damage. His Super Trustmaster reward is the strongest attack stat Super Trustmaster reward in the game, and it has 2 double killers that may or may not be useful. It's definitely optimal for Butz, that's for sure. EX plus 3 is just stats, and expensive. So how good is World Wayfarer Butz? Surprisingly, he's incredibly strong. His fancy schmancy base Limit Burst and Grandest buff actually disguises his best option, his Brave Shift. By stacking every available modifier buff in his kit, Crushing and Termination Blade rise to a significant number, and with Butz's good base stats he's able to make significant strides. His base Limit Burst has a slightly above average modifier, really taking advantage of that temporary amplification buff. Now this does let him beat out wind units with better modifiers but worse buffs, so ultimately when it comes to wind, he'll fall below sighted. It's pretty interesting. Without optimal buffs, Butz's best options range from Termination Blade, Crushing Blade, and then his base Limit Burst. But depending on who you have and what you've got, this order can change. Still, without support, there are nitpicks. If you want to use Butz as a wind damage dealer, you've got a bit of work cut out for you. His Brave Ship's Limit Burst damage modifier buff only lasts half the time of his ability buffs, and while his Limit Burst cost isn't egregious, it's still pretty big. Sure, you can switch to Crushing and Termination Blade, but the issue with that lies in his buffs. Though they preemptively dispel any element on Butz, it ultimately leaves him locked to one of them, and none of them are wind. Now, wind has received significant support in the form of Cryo, but nevertheless, while Butz's kit might look flexible, it's not truly to the extent you might imagine. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe. Comment below if you summon World Wayfarer Butz. The man's full of deceptions, isn't he? He looks weak, but he packs some powerful buffs. He looks flexible, but his kit options might feel limiting. Still, if you work well with what you've got, Butz is a very powerful unit.